Joe Ims. He was instrumental in helping us develop sea lion sound here at the zoo, so we're very excited to have him here with us. Now, my name is Haley, and I'm going to be your host for today's show. However, I am not the true star of the show. Thankfully, those two have just joined us on stage. So we're going to kick things off with introductions. First of all, I'd like to introduce you to your wonderful trainer. Everyone say hello to Anna. And Anna is working with our male California sea lion. He weighs in at 713 pounds and is 21 years old. Everyone say hello to Robbie. Now, Robbie is a sea lion, and as a sea lion, Robbie has several adaptations that help him survive and also thrive in his environment. So he'd like to share some of those amazing adaptations with you all right now. Now, probably the first and most noticeable adaptation of the California sea lion is going to be those two very large and powerful front flippers on each side of his body. You can see he utilizes them very, very well up here on our stage. Now, you can find California sea lions anywhere from British Columbia, Canada, all the way down to Baja, California. So, of course, they're very well built for life on that rocky west coast. You may notice that Robbie has no trouble moving along on land, like I mentioned. They would do quite a bit of climbing in their natural environment. California sea lions are also able to rotate their rear flippers, picking their chest up and off the ground, walking on all fours. That's how a California sea lion moves. However, like I've been saying, Robbie is a sea lion. He is not a seal. And oftentimes, guests do come to the zoo and say, I'm so excited to see your seal show. Robbie is not a seal. So to prove to you the differences between seals and sea lions, Robbie has been working on a very difficult impression of his cousin the seal. It is a lot of work. We'll see if he's up for it this afternoon. It's a little bit hot, but I think he's got it. Let's see Robbie's best impression of a seal. Like I said, a lot of work. Now, seals and sea lions are different in the way they move on land. So you saw how Robbie was able to pick his chest up and off the ground and walk on all fours. A seal moves a little bit like this. So they have to scoot along on their belly, almost like an inchworm or a caterpillar. They do not have long front flippers. They have very short front flippers. So it takes them a little bit longer to get around. So hopefully, with your new friend Robbie's impression, you will never mistake a sea lion for a seal again. But if you do want to put yourself to the test, we do have 3 harbor seals that call sea lions down their home, and they are going to be on our habitat portion of our complex. So if you want to go see some seals and sea lions over there and put yourself to the test, feel free to do so after the show. Now, in addition to those front flippers, California sea lions also have amazing eyesight. They can see incredibly well, both above and also below the water. Now, to prove this to you, we are going to show off a cognitive behavior that is truly impressive. It's what we call shape discrimination. Now, all 11 of our animals here at Sea Lion Sound have been assigned their own individual shape. So Robbie's shape is the star that Anna is showing off to all of you. So using that incredible eyesight, whenever that shape is presented, Robbie should find it, touching and holding his nose to it as he's demonstrating, wherever it may be. You can see he follows it in any location. But what we're able to do is test his eyesight a little bit further, because what we can do is add in other shapes to the mix as well, making sure he is looking and paying attention, finding that star. Anna has added in a stop sign shape. We're going to ask Rob to come out of the water and see if he can find his star. Let's hear it for Rob. That's pretty impressive stuff. Again, all thanks to his amazing eyesight. Now, we like to constantly change things up to make sure he really is looking and paying attention. So Anna has switched hands because it shouldn't matter what shape is in what hand. Robbie should still be able to find the star wherever it may be. And like I mentioned, we are home to 11 animals here at Sea Lion Sound, so we do have 11 shapes that our animals have been presented with. So Anna's going to grab a different shape. This time it looks like a nice little diamond shape. And we are going to make sure Robbie knows what he's doing, which I believe he does. He is able to use that amazing eyesight of his to find that star. One last round of applause for the big guy. It's a very impressive behavior. Not only that, but it also shows off how truly intelligent these animals are, that they can discriminate between shapes. Now, the next adaptation that we are going to talk about are Robbie's whiskers. If you look closely at his face, you'll notice he has some beautiful, handsome whiskers. But those whiskers are also very useful. They are very sensitive, and they actually have their own nerve endings and also blood supply. And what sea lions use them for is to sense the vibrations of fish swimming in the water, allowing them to find their prey more easily. This is especially helpful when that water is dark or murky. But here in Sea Lion Sound, our sea lions, they don't have any hunting to do. So instead, we've trained Robbie to utilize this adaptation in a behavior called a ball balance. So watch closely, because Robbie is going to clear his whiskers out and around that ball. He's going to use them to sense its movement and adjust his head and body accordingly to keep it balanced. Robbie's whiskers allow sea lions to be very efficient hunters, but Anna and Robbie are going to come out a little bit closer to all of you to talk about another adaptation that actually enables them to be excellent hunters. Believe it or not, it's actually a sea lion's neck. Now, sea lions lack collarbones like you and I, so they're able to move in all sorts of crazy directions, making very tight turns and moving their head quickly in order to capture their prey more easily. They can move their necks back to back, side to side, up to down, all over, in all sorts of crazy directions, again, allowing them to capture that prey easily. But we are going to ask Robbie to utilize his neck and its flexibility to do a little bit something different this afternoon. We are going to ask Robbie to utilize his neck to toss out some frisbees into the audience. So, heads up, because these frisbees are headed out in your direction. A word of warning before we get started, Anna and I have no idea where they're going to go, and I'll be honest, sometimes they can come at you pretty fast. So, heads up everybody, be ready to catch or potentially block the frisbee. Let's have some fun. You do get to take it home as a nice fishy souvenir. But I did say fishy. You might want to get a rinse, especially on this hot day, before you get into a car a little bit later on. Now, all of these behaviors that you've seen so far, we're trained using positive reinforcement. And what that means is we reward good and correct behavior. Anytime one of our animals does what we're looking for, we're going to follow that behavior up with something that our animals find reinforcing or rewarding in return. If they do something that isn't quite right, that's okay. We're simply going to pause for a couple seconds, move on, maybe go back to that misbehavior a little bit later with some more information to help them succeed. Now, there are several reasons why we do train. It's very important, and we'd like to share some of those reasons with you all right now. Now, the first reason that we are going to talk about is physical stimulation. Just as exercise is important for you and I, it's also important for our animals to stay active in order to be their best possible selves. Now, we have a wide variety of behaviors that encourage our animals to get moving, to utilize all of their muscles. Although I mentioned Robbie is 713 pounds, he does get along on land and in the water very easily, as I'm sure you've seen. So we're able to use our training sessions as an opportunity to promote exercise. Now, some of our behaviors are a little bit more of an intense workout. We're going to show off one of these right now. Out on the rocky west coast of North America, where you can find California sea lions, they would do quite a bit of climbing. So we're able to ask Robbie to exert some energy just like that here in our arena by climbing up a rocky surface that does mimic that natural coastline. You can see that he has no trouble getting those steps in. Some of you may like to do, I know I like to do that every single day, so Robbie is able to get his steps in right now. And of course, you're able to see him a little bit closer. He's a very handsome sea lion, as I'm sure he's showing off to all of you who can see him at the top half of the arena. So, we're able to encourage movement in our training sessions. We're able to ask our animals to use all of their different muscles. One of my favorite things about California sea lions is that they're agile both on land and also in the water. So we do have a wide variety of behaviors that encourage movement in both places, which is pretty fun. Definitely very special that we're able to work with these types of animals here and ask them to utilize those spaces. Now, you may notice if Robbie's a little bit closer to you that his slippers are a nice rubbery texture. Again, that's beneficial for him as he climbs on rocky surfaces. But he is a mammal, so you may also notice that he does have some fur. When sea lions dry out, they're nice and fuzzy. So although Robbie does look nice and rubbery and wet, he does have fur, and you might have seen it as he was a little bit closer. So, physical stimulation, just one of the very important reasons why we do train. Now, we also train for mental stimulation. We saw that a little bit earlier when we did that cognitive shape discrimination behavior, but we do have some behaviors that ask our animals to think a little bit differently. Anna and Robbie are going to head back my way to show off one of those right now. Now, we talked about how sea lions have incredible eyesight. They're very good hunters, and that would be something that they would do out in the ocean. But we're going to ask Robbie to find some things in our water here. So, Anna is going to toss out some objects into the water in front of us, and after Robbie is patient and hangs out and waits for us to set up, we are going to send him on a sea lion scavenger hunt. He's going to have to find all of these objects in the water and bring them back to Anna. Now some will float, some will sink, there's a wide variety, so we'll see how he does. No trouble at all for Robbie. He's a very smart sea lion. He was able to locate all of those objects and bring them back to Anna. Now something else about sea lions that we didn't talk about earlier is that they only can see in shades of blues and greens. So sometimes when we use a retrieval object that's a little bit of a different color, they can blend against the algae in the bottom of the pool. So it was really awesome that he was able to locate all of those objects, even though some of them were red or orange in color. Nice work, Robbie. So we train for physical stimulation. We train for mental stimulation. We also train for another reason, and this one's my personal favorite, because it involves all of you. We train for educational purposes. We're very proud of the fact that we're able to bring our animals up close to our guests, creating long-lasting and meaningful connections between you all and our animals. We're very proud of the fact that you all are able to come to our show and learn a little bit about sea lions, and hopefully fall in love with them just like we are. But of course, there is always more to learn, so Robbie is going to do that right now. He's going to teach you something else about sea lions. Robbie is going to show off his best impression of the top predator of a California sea lion, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. You all are going to watch this impression, and then afterwards, I'll ask you what you think the top predator of a California sea lion is. Watch closely. Okay, I think that impression was pretty awesome, but I'm going to go ahead and check in with you all. Shout it out. What do you think the top predator of the California sea lion is? Shark. Ooh, what do you two think up there? Yeah? All right. Oh, okay, of course. Robbie also wants you to know that you are correct, but the top predator of the California sea lion in particular is going to be a great white shark. Nice work, everyone. But there is something else in those waters that can be pretty scary, only this time it's something that is not natural. Unfortunately, for animals everywhere, litter is a major issue. In our world's ocean, single-use plastics are a big problem. Now, single-use plastics are great products. I know we all probably use them every day, but when they end up in the wrong spot, they can take a long time to break down, or animals can ingest them by mistake or become entangled in them. Now, Robbie here is going to show you all a very simple solution, a very simple action you can choose to take in your own lives. It's going to positively impact animals all over the world. And of course, that is going to be to take all of your single-use plastic to the proper place, which of course is always the recycle bin. Now, in addition, you can also choose to reduce your plastic consumption. You can find reusable alternatives. You can also reuse some of your single-use plastic for other purposes, just as we are using some of our own in our show today. But no matter how near or far you are from the ocean, your actions do matter, and you do have the ability to make a profound impact on the world. So, remember your new friend Robbie, and choose to recycle when you have the opportunity. Now with that, unfortunately, we are getting ready to wrap up our show today. But before Robbie's grand finale, I do want to let you all know that there are 3 exits in this arena. One on the left-hand side of the arena, one at the top of the arena steps, and one on the right-hand side of the arena as well. So feel free to utilize any of those 3 as you need today to enjoy your visit here with us at the zoo. Now, as promised, Robbie is going to show off one last time. He is headed back up to the highest point of our stage, but this time, he's going all the way through that hoop in Anna's hand. You all have been fantastic. These 2 have done an excellent job all show long. Let's give them one last round of applause for today. sea lion show here at the St. Louis Zoo. Your support allows for us to care for animals, not only just here, but also in the wild. Again, thank you so much to Joe Imms for coming out today and setting our show with us. Have a good rest of your day, everybody. Enjoy your visit at the zoo. Bye, everyone.